Hi everyone. My sincere apologies for the sound problems and what I believe would apply to my last two videos, possibly more. I know the last two, nearly certain there were problems due to some settings that I got wrong. It was actually an effort to improve the sound and I managed to make it worse. Hopefully now it'll be a permanent fix. And of course, Mercury retrograde strikes again. This is the kind of thing that Mercury retrograde correlates to, these kinds of annoyances that just show up when Mercury is retrograde. So possibly you'll tell me, nope, still doesn't work, or you may come up with a different problem, and hopefully I'll be able to solve that if it were to happen. But I'm reasonably confident that this should be back to normal, possibly maybe even a tad better. We'll see. And in the meantime, I'll end this video by attaching a clip from a podcast featuring Katty Kay and Anthony Scaramucci, in which they talk politics, I think often very insightfully, and particularly this moment in time, it's very high octane. There are all kinds of patterns intertwining, different things happening simultaneously, mostly fueled by the Epstein scandal that surfaced a few weeks ago, but now also involving Rupert Murdoch, the Wall Street Journal, and such things as what would be the best strategy for Democrats going forward, maybe looking at future elections, etc. Hope you enjoy it.
The messaging to opponents of Donald Trump has changed from we're Democrats and we don't want to be involved in a conspiracy theory to actually, you know what, maybe there is something in this and we want to keep this story alive all through the summer. And the reason I think that this could work for Democrats, not necessarily in the long run, not necessarily in the midterms, although you've got retiring Republican Senator Tom Tillis saying this is going to be an issue in the midterms, is because things are going to happen, right? You've got Ghislaine Maxwell being interviewed again. You're going to have now the files being released in September, potentially. This is going to drag on through the summer. And I think nobody thinks that sending Congress home a day early is necessarily going to stop this from being a summer story, right? I mean, I think if you're the strategist, you tell opponents of Donald Trump to keep this story alive and keep saying to people, but we should know. And you raise the story of the victims of what happened and how awful this is. And don't you want to know whether there were any more powerful people who were involved in this? I guess that's how they strategize on this. They've clearly decided that they're going to try and keep this story going through the summer.
Let me just, I want to have a follow-up question for you, if you don't mind. Could the culture turn on them while that's happening? So I'll give you an example. South Park, which is owned by Paramount, just signed a $1.5 billion deal with them, multi-year deal, to continue that comedy animation series. And they landed yesterday with a very big punch on Donald Trump. They've got him cavorting around naked in the White House, and then he's getting in bed with Satan. And they're basically saying in the skit, sue us, bring the suit. We want to get sued by you. And this is while Paramount and CBS are struggling with Donald Trump to get this merger deal done and to pay Donald Trump whatever money, I guess, the bribery money, extortion money that he's trying to get from 60 Minutes. It's okay when Fox News edits Donald Trump's malaprops out of his interviews and all of his misconfigurations, but when 60 Minutes did that for Vice President Harris, that's a lawsuit and worth $15 or $60 million. And they're going to capitulate. But Paramount also owns South Park, and South Park's punching away, Caddy. I'm just wondering if something happens here where 10 or 12% of MAGA defects. I can say this to people that I live in a MAGA area. I live in Nassau County. It's white. It's a blue collar area, working class area for the UK listeners listening in. And MAGA flags are down. People have taken their bumper stickers off. Okay, one of my cousins who's a clamor, who's a diehard Trump supporter, red meat eating, 60 pull-ups a day, alpha male, diehard Trump supporter, is I'm done with Trump.